So, what happens now? Take-Two has been quite active with their cease and desist. I guess it started with the Red Dead Redemption maps and the Liberty City maps, which there is understandable reasons for why they wouldn't allow, because they sort of you're bringing content from one game into another. But I think most people were quite perplexed with the cease and desist for Open 4, and especially for the reasoning we got afterwards. Um, they also did some cease and desist for Force Hack or some other tools used for exploiting online, and I think almost all modding makers and the whole player community supports that action of bringing down the cheating within the online sessions. And that makes it even feel worse when they start using that same argument against the Open 4 tool, which has always been focused on the single player part. And I think the makers of these tools, both Open 4 and the ScriptHook 5, which we'll come into later, has been very clear on that we will not tolerate or we won't allow any of these being used on the online side. Because we always know that was sort of a big shift which could cause the whole modding community to collapse, because we would no longer be accepted by Rockstar or by Take-Two. And Open 4 is not a tool for online. It's a tool for creating models, creating textures, and pushing really the boundaries of what you can do with the game. And I think from my side, the biggest betrayal is that the Rockstar has actually allowed this to happen from the start, and they've also sort of not facilitated, but they've helped push the message around this community. And it's a lot of effort pushed into reverse engineering the game, bringing up the tools, and allowing a community to do whatever they want to do with it. And it's countless of hours spent over many months and many years building it more and more. And I think what people have been able to do with both with the mods and sort of the Machinima makers who are using this actually as well has been amazing. And we've pushed the boundaries again and again and again into something we didn't think was possible. But now, suddenly, we're not allowed anymore. Now they've sort of made the balance about what's the monetary influence of this with the latest things happening, and they basically shutting down huge parts of this. And I would be totally okay if they started with that message when they released the game, saying that, well, sorry, we're not going to allow you any modding because we believe it will influence our bottom line or whatever. And then the modding community would just move somewhere else. So it at least wouldn't be the same size as we have now, and that much effort in investigating and gone into this. And that, to me, is the biggest betrayal, that they sort of just pulled the plug on it now because they saw, well, we could earn more money on the bottom line if we do this differently. And hiding behind that this is to stop cheating on the online side, it's plain wrong. What will happen now? Well, as I said, as I didn't say, but Scene Director mod has never been directly dependent on Open 4 in previous versions. I've been working with a big new feature around lighting, creating spotlights, making them follow around the actors and around the scene, which is absolutely dependent on Open 4 because I need to create the props, which are actually the lights and in different colors. So that features, from a scene director point of view, will just be dropped. But from a scene director point of view, the big dependencies is the ScriptHook 5. And that it's currently not updated. And it's currently not working. And it's been leaked out information from the Open 4 team that Alexander Blake, who is maintaining the ScriptHook 5, is sort of pending his actions and looking into what's happening with the cease and desist process for Open 4 before he makes his decision on updating ScriptHook 5 or not. And I think that makes sense. I think we've already sent a strong message from the community that, well, we don't agree with this decision and we think it's done on the wrong basis. You can see this on the ratings for the game on Steam, which is overwhelming negatively. You can see that there's 67,000 people who've signed the petition to bring back Open4, but it doesn't really affect the financial bottom line for the companies. So it doesn't really have the highest attention. And I think then it makes sense for the modding community to try to dictate a bit of the terms of what would we like to have if you're supposed to have an active and vibrant community. And maybe that is that we feel we need to have Open4 and we need to have Scriptbook 5. And if you can't allow us that, well, maybe you shouldn't have half of that. Maybe you shouldn't have the Scriptbook 5. Maybe the right decision then is to actually stop Scriptbook 5 development and don't update it, because then the impact at least will be much clearer going forward. I'm not sure if that's the right decision to make. I can definitely understand it if it's been made, and I'm glad I'm not the person to actually have to do that decision. I'll leave that to Alexander's and whoever he's conferring with to decide the future of Scriptbook 5. And there might be clones of Scriptbook 5, there might be just modification directly to what he's done already, but it won't be the same, and us mod makers will need to make a decision after he has made his standpoint, how we want to do this. I think we're seeing that this is not necessarily something very surprising, that they put financial gain ahead of the modding community. They've been pushing this sort of gaming as a service for a long time, and they will continue probably to do that. And I think they also want to move into more a moderated modding kind of style. So that might happen in future games, or it might happen on the shorter term, I'm not sure. But basically that will limit the freedom of mod makers quite significantly, because Rockstar will need in some way of curating this modding community and what mods are available. And by doing that, they are definitely more liable for intellectual property violations and copyright violations, which probably in practice means there will be no Iron Man mods, or you won't be able to have exploding cell phones of certain brands. For Rockstar as a company is basically too large. So it will definitely change the community very much, and I think that it will shrink quite significantly. And hopefully they also understand that the modding community, it's the mod makers are basically doing this on a hobby basis, or at least they're not interested in making any monetary gains for this. So whatever models there is, it should always be possible to publish things for free, both from the mod makers and also from the curator, which probably will be Rockstar here. So at the moment I'm basically watching the discussions happening. I'm seeing if there's any actual substance coming back from Rockstar. They made a very minor release, which doesn't really tell the whole truth of what actually Open4 does, and I think they know quite well what it is capable of. And I still see that sort of the Machinima community might be a special case in this, as it's a more limited group of people, maybe 20, 30, 40 committed and dedicated Machinima makers, who we can probably do a lot of more workarounds and have more elaborate installation procedures to get this working. So I can't say anything what will happen there right now, but I think it will in any way limit the and increase the threshold for actually new people to get involved in the Machinima scene. And that's a shame, because I think especially the Machinima scene has been pushing what's possible for a long time and constantly overdoing it. And a lot of this has been because of the functionalities and possibilities within Open4, and it has been to do with mods which are sort of helping them achieve the artistic vision they have. And it will definitely crush their creativity without these tools. You will be limited, and I don't see that Rockstar or anybody else will fill the void and invest in their own tools for actually doing this, even though they definitely could, but it will be a much more structured approach. So for now, I'll just hope you at least have some idea of what I'm thinking, and we just have to wait for the next statements and see what happens. Yeah, it's definitely a shame, and it's crushed our trust on the company. So they definitely need to step up and start rebuilding that trust, and to share what their plans going forward are, because, well, this is not good enough. All right, bye.